The tremor treatment has reached the new Ford Explorer. Currently in the Ford lineup, we have an F-150 Tremor, there's a Maverick Tremor, Super Duty, Expedition, and now the Explorer. But what exactly is a tremor version of a Ford vehicle? Well, when I drove the F-150 Tremor, to me it felt like a low-calorie Raptor. It was a Raptor that went on a diet, where it's off-road capable, but not quite as extreme as a Raptor model, and that's appropriate to apply to other vehicles like the Explorer, the Expedition, and so forth. With the Explorer Tremor, this kind of takes the space of the Timberline, so that was the more kind of off-road version of the Explorer, but now we have a Tremor model, and today we're going to find out what it has to offer. You can already see different wheels, all-terrain tires. We'll talk about the powertrain and check out what the new Explorer Tremor is like. We are currently outside in Dearborn. I'm looking at the Ford World headquarters, but it's very humid and hot outside, so we'll take a look at this one. But we actually have another Tremor model available in a air-conditioned, much more comfortable studio, where we'll get a more detailed walk around with the brand manager and just see what the new Explorer Tremor is going to be like. All right, we're here with Matt, the brand manager for the Ford Explorer Tremor. Take us away. Let's see what the Tremor is going to offer.
Awesome, let's jump into it. So I think the first thing to remember about the Ford Explorer Tremor for 26 model year is that this is for these customers who want to go further off-road than your standard Explorer can already get you, right? We know our customers go off-road. We know our customers go off-road more than those of any of our competitors. So they need this vehicle to get them to those remote trailheads, those secret fishing spots, those mountain biking trails. That's what this is built for. So as you join us, let's walk up to the front of the vehicle. First things that stand out is this Tremor orange grille with off-road grille lights right here. So when you're on those trails at night, they're ready to illuminate your trail, keep that adventure going even after dark. You come down a little further, and now you've got recovery tow hooks, just for in case you need to recover one of your friends who you're adventuring with. And then if you notice, you start to see steel skid plates. These are underneath the vehicle. We've got three protecting those vital components from rocks, muddy trails, places where it's rutted out. Your underbody's protected very well. But then we come around to the side, and on the side you start to see, here we've got all-terrain tires, 31.5-inch all-terrain tires. You've got an aluminum wheel with a painted pocket so that even if it's muddy and mucky out there, you can find this valve stem. And then as you continue on, some of the things you don't see, an inch increased ride height. You've also got a Torsen limited slip differential for those low traction situations. Maybe it's snow, maybe it's mud, maybe it's sand, whatever it is. You've got good traction in the back end here. Certainly we've got the standard 5,000 pounds of towing. But that's not it. We didn't just make this a more capable vehicle, we made it a more livable, comfortable vehicle for every day. So if you come inside, what you're gonna see is, yes, the Tremor orange stitching, the Tremor orange logo up on the seats, first and second row, but you'll also find those creature comforts, ambient light, second row heated seats. You're gonna find a 360-degree camera and an available massaging seats, 14 speaker branded audio, moonroof, and all of that comes with the 3-liter engine. And that's what's really exciting for this model year. We've got a 2.3-liter standard, but a 400 horsepower 3-liter engine, just like you'd have in our ST, making this the most powerful off-road Explorer ever.
Questions?
Yes.
What are some differentiating factors other than the engine between this and the Timberline, the outgoing model?
Yep, engine's really important, but those features are too. When we heard our customer feedback, they said, yes, we like Timberline, we love this, but we don't want to sacrifice on road. We don't want to sacrifice that comfort. So we said, okay, let's bring it. 14 speaker branded audio, massaging seats, the moonroof, now even Blue Cruise 1.5 with the automatic lane change available. That starts to become really differentiated from everything we had in the past, and frankly, everything on the market.
Okay, so you mentioned everything coming with the EcoBoost V6, the 3-liter versus the 4-cylinder. So all like the tech luxury features are packaged together. What's the breakdown for that?
Yeah, great question. So there's some really important bits of the tech that are standard on every Tremor, and frankly, every Explorer. So you get in the 13.2-inch center stack screen, the 12-inch digital cluster, Blue Cruise availability, all of that is there for every Tremor. So you can get that there. Ford Digital Experience, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, all those bits, all that core goodness is there. Now, yes, moonroof, seats, high-end speakers, that's bundled there at the top end for those customers who want that.
Okay.
But there's an incredible amount of standard content with every Tremor.
Gotcha. What was the thought with leaving Timberline branding and going to Tremor? Because obviously you probably had some brand equity with Timberline, people recognized it, because there was other Timberline models too. Is it just a whole model-wise change?
I think what it is it's us leaning into the promise that is Tremor, right? When we created Tremor for Super Duty and F-150 Maverick, it became this promise of, hey, there's a certain level of capability here, but Tremor gets you to go further off-road. It gets you to be able to do more. And that brand equity that was there in the market just made so much sense to flow onto our utilities.
Gotcha.
Make it common and really understandable for every customer.
The unique suspension tuning, the sway bar, the changes, the mechanical changes from the Tremor, are they an upgrade from the Timberline, or is that kind of carry over and just retweaked for the new generation?
What we've done is we've certainly redesigned those sway bars, the springs, things like that. And what we've upgraded here is, yes, the ride height's about the same, but the trail comfort is wildly different. And from spending a number of hours in this vehicle off-road, this versus the Timberline was off-road capable, but still kind of bounced you a little bit. This vehicle, when you get on there, you're like, hey, I could do this all day. It kind of glides across the trails, giving you all the comfort without beating you up. It gives you that confidence to go a little further off-road.
Gotcha. Drive modes, any fancy drive modes for this one?
We've got off-road drive mode, which is specially tuned for Tremor.
Okay.
So you'll find that in there, and that's going to give you some unique camera views and a unique cluster screen that'll give you some of your attitude.
Very cool. What's your favorite thing about the new Explorer Tremor? You have to pick one. You're obviously very familiar with this vehicle.
I love the Torsen. In my mind, the Torsen is kind of the soul of the vehicle, because that guarantees, hey, I just want to take this vehicle out on the beach, or I want to take this vehicle and, oh man, I got caught in a snowstorm. That Torsen gives you the confidence, I can keep going.
All right, let's get up close with this Explorer Tremor. So the two engine options are very interesting, because previously it was just the EcoBoost Inline 4, which is 300 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque, but now you can have the same 3-liter EcoBoost V6 from the Explorer ST, which is substantially more powerful. 400 horsepower, 415 pound-feet of torque. And having spent time with the Explorer ST, that is definitely a healthy amount of power for a SUV in this segment. The looks, I gotta say, that's probably one of the big draws for a lot of buyers of this. They like the added capability, but it also just looks a bit more tough and rugged. A big part of that obviously is the all-terrain tires here, right? So you just get more sidewall, looks a bit more beefy looking, different 18-inch wheels, and I really like the little orange copper accent here. Originally, when I first saw a Tremor, I thought it was just an accent thing, right? To match the accenting on the grille and the tow hooks, but no, it's actually very deliberate. You heard, it's right where the valve stem is. So even if it's all muddy, you can easily tell which one it is in case you need air up or air down. I actually experienced that when we took the Expedition Tremor off-road, got that thing properly muddy, but you could still tell which of the little spoke openings the valve stem is. So that's pretty cool. The black 18-inch wheels here. Now the lift, part of it is going to be the tires. That definitely contributes to it. And it's not, again, over the top aggressive. You look at a Raptor model versus a regular one, it's way more extreme, right? It's way wider. It's just to the next level. The Tremor, again, it's a Raptor that went on a diet. It's got some of those elements, but not supposed to be as extreme. Obviously, for something like the Explorer, they're not going to the Raptor treatment. I make that comparison because F-150 Tremor and Raptor, you do have that kind of that hierarchy. But it's interesting to think about how it's positioned in the lineup. Now the looks, similar across the rest of the Explorer update. The front lights are pretty cool. Nicely integrated here, and you have the accenting, the black Ford badge, Explorer lettering across the hood, and actual functional tow hooks. See, I can put my full weight on that. Yep, the vehicle is wiggling. Skid plates below in case you accidentally smack something. So it's a nice looking overall front end. Now coming along the side, that's going to be all very similar. We have the updated Explorer taillights across the lineup. And you do get the big Tremor badge here, again, with that electric spice accent. It's like a copper yellow color. Got the tow hitch here. You can tow 5,000 pounds, which again is useful, right? Because somebody buying a Tremor probably wants to go do fun things, adventures. You might want to tow your jet skis behind it, or maybe your kayaks or something, right? That's what that is for. Maybe a small little trailer. We've got a little bit more accenting right here. I think this one has the EcoBoost inline for the one outside. That gray one had the V6, but visually there's nothing on the outside that I see indicating a difference. But the inside, so it's plastic right here. We got the rugged all-weather floor mats here, so get that muddy and dirty, not a problem. You see the Tremor stitching here with the badging and then the accent stitching on the seats. Mixture of black suede with the leather, more of that yellow gold electric spice stitching. And they also have it on the second row seats. Third row doesn't get it, but second row has the Tremor lettering. Now, other things like the screens are going to be the same as a nicely optioned Explorer. We have Blue Cruise, right, which is the hands-free driving system. It's 1.5, which means you can have supported lane changes and things like that. But actually, on my way here to Dearborn, I was in a Lincoln Navigator, and I did most of the drive on the freeway hands-free with Blue Cruise. So similar system in the Explorer Tremor. The rest of this is all very familiar if you've been in a new Explorer. Lots of storage spaces, lots of technology, the B&O sound system with a big bar going across the middle here. This one does not have a sunroof option on it. And here's a fun little Easter egg. If you come over to the passenger side, we have the skyline of Chicago because the Explorers are built in Chicago. And then if you come around to the driver's side, when you open the door, on the same part of the dash on the side right here, we have Explorer established 1991, and that's like the Detroit/Dearborn skyline there. So pulling the heritage in between, you know, Michigan here, Dearborn, where Ford is based, and this vehicle is design engineered, and then they build it in Chicago at the assembly plant. So we have the off-road lights on. Let me show you how to turn them on and off. So we hop in the vehicle. So you do have to have the high beams on in order to turn the off-road lights on and off. So if you go to lighting, off-road lights, if you turn that on, but without high beams on, I'll show you real quick. You see they are not on, but as soon as you turn the high beams on, so I'll just flick those forward like that, you get the off-road lights. There we go. That's pretty sleek, nicely integrated into the grille. I like that. And of course, the caveat with lights like that is off-road use only. You're supposed to use them when you are actually off-road. Do not use those in your neighborhood to flash them angrily at your neighbor. All right, so there's a quick look at what the 2026 Ford Explorer Tremor is going to offer. Now, this Explorer is on the same platform as before, but this is considered like a mid-cycle update. They refreshed it in 25, now the 26 model year, so it's not a massive departure, not an all-new platform or generation. So it's an evolution from the Timberline, but changed into the Tremor to align with the rest of the Tremor models in the Ford lineup. But you have some similarities, like the wheel tire package, right? 8.7 inches of ground clearance. But the big news to me, the biggest, coolest thing is they are now offering this off-road model with the EcoBoost V6. That's a lot more power. Definitely, if you want it, it will help for towing and just day-to-day driving, but you still have that option to have the inline 4, the entry-level engine, if you maybe just don't need the extra power or the cost, but you still want that kind of rugged off-road look. So I think that's the biggest piece of news, but you still have plenty of capability from the Torsen diff. You have skid plates, tow hooks up front. It definitely looks cool, and this is positioned for sure as a more premium model in the lineup. So you kind of go to ST on one hand and then to Tremor if you want the more rugged adventure feeling one. You can just tell by the interior, right? This is the nicer of the Explorer interiors. You've got lots of nice stitching. You've got plenty of tech, luxury, creature comforts, the big speaker bar across the middle, Blue Cruise available, the 360 cameras, things like that. So what do you guys think about the new Explorer Tremor? This segment, I think, from my perception, is becoming pretty popular because all the OEMs are making these kind of light off-road package versions of their mass market family SUVs and crossovers and trucks, because people are clearly trying to get out, go adventure, go to a park, go camping, fishing, whatever, right? And I do like that they're actually putting a bit of engineering effort into these. It's not just a badge and then maybe some tires and like stickers and things like that, right? Like we have actual functionality here. They retuned suspensions, got unique sway bars and other components like that. So definitely interested to try out the Explorer Tremor, see what it's like, especially with that EcoBoost V6. It's like a slightly lifted version of the ST that's more hardcore, right? Could be fun. What do you guys think? Comment below. Thanks for coming along and checking out the new Explorer Tremor. I think I said Tremor at least 56 times in this video.